Yes, we're going live and we're live.
Hi, welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as J-Nitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and this is episode 378. 378.
Cool.
How are things going?
They're going. It's been a pretty interesting and busy week and at work. Home is a little hectic, but moving along, right? Getting into the school routines and whatnot. But yeah, we're, I don't know, we're grooving. I feel like I have to point out that the shadows in my office are making it look like I have a still here. I was telling Megan about it before we started, and it is bothering me. It's just the shadow from the lights.
Yeah. I have a Wednesday morning meeting, a leadership meeting that I run. And yeah, I was just saying this morning, like, it feels like we get to Wednesday. I'm like, oh my goodness, like it's Wednesday already. Keeping busy, I'll do that to you, I guess, right?
Yep, for sure.
For sure. But so the funny story, I have a funny story that I'm telling this week. I'm telling stories on myself. But just kind of like in the grand scheme of things. And I know that there's other people out there that will enjoy this story because they share with me. So last week, my sons, I was like, hey, you need to take the trash out to the curb. Like, this is now part of your duties. Like, I'm tired of like having to remember to do it. Like, you're going to take the trash out to the curb. And I thought they were excuse making, or maybe I didn't think they were excuse making, but I definitely thought that they were whining about like, Mom, there's this spider. Like, I don't want to touch the trash can because there's this spider. And I'm like, you're bigger than the spider. You shouldn't be afraid of it, whatever. So last night I go out there because they're off biking and doing whatever. And I swear there's like a tarantula sized spider, like just this ginormous spider that's building a web. And like, it had no fear. Like, I knocked down its web and it was like staring at me, like, take me on. Like, it didn't scurry away. It was going to get me. So I come back inside and the kids, of course, parrot right back to me the things that I said the week before, right? Like, Mom, you're bigger than it. You could totally take this out. Like, shut up. So Jeremy's like, take a broom out there. So again, if you could have gotten like the cam of me with this broom, I'm just like, and then of course it's gone, right? So it's like, it's a Hitchcock thing, right? Like, it's scarier to not know where it is than when it was like staring me down. So I'm just like hitting the stupid trash can with this broom, hoping that the spider, like, with just like the wisps of my fingertips, like touching it's in the dark, right? Touching the trash can and trying to take it to the curb. And it didn't get me, and it didn't get on me. But like, I feel like the rest of the night I was like, what's that? Did it jump on?
What kind of spider was it? Do you know what kind of spider?
I don't know. It was big and hairy and scary and gross.
Hairy and scary. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that. That's my story this week. Spiders are scary, more scary when you have to take the trash to the curb than when you're coaching your kids through like how to be grown up. And it was scary. I'm still kind of like, and maybe it just lived there. Maybe when I'm going to roll it back in, right now that the trash has come, like, I bet the spider is still on there. He's just decided, I mean, at this point, week after week, and at that size, maybe he should be our pet spider. Maybe he should have a name.
Absolutely.
So scary.
I know that like when spiders move at their capability, they freak me out. But I'm not scared of spiders. Kind of like mice. Okay. When they move at their speed, they're scary. And I think it's just mainly like when something's small and moves that fast, you're just like, whoa. But I don't know. We have some wolf spiders in our bushes that we used to feed.
Well, again, I don't mind that they eat the mosquitoes and flies and whatever, which is probably why it's next to my trash can, right? It's like, oh, there's insects that are attracted to the smells of whatever you're throwing into the trash can. But yeah, not good.
Not a fan.
Not a fan. Jeremy's wrist needs to start feeling better so he can do it, or I need to tell the kids to do it and not and mention that I think that the spider is gone. But yeah, need to put like a Randy warning on this episode. Sorry, Randy, she doesn't like spiders.
No, yeah, a lot of people don't.
Yep.
And
I
like
see
said,
Beth.
I'm not
Hello,
scared
Beth.
of them
Good
until I start
afternoon
moving.
to you. It is afternoon here, but it is still noon. Out in the comments. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, the only administrati I had was just that we had our chat with Detroit Knots, and it was really great for her to bring her multi-crafty wonderfulness. My queue grew a ton between her garments and her shawls, which I think would be great for shoulders, in the head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Craft along. So
Yeah, no, I definitely was more attracted to the things that she showed us as previews than the other ones. So it was
yes.
kind of like, ooh. So yeah, there are some fun teasers out there in that video if you missed it.
Yeah, garments and shawls, and yeah, coming soon, hopefully. So definitely makes me want to get my hook back out, not just for the blanket, but for other items. So
Right.
really enjoy those events for that sort of thing. Anything else? We've got in a couple of days our ZK 2023 signups going out to our ZKN members, so that's super exciting.
Yeah, the 16th. That's
yes.
gonna happen. Yeah, super
Yep.
exciting. I'm working on our vendors at the moment. So if you are a vendor and are watching, the applications are out there. It's in my announcement of our location move, and there's a link out there. I might, after we get rolling and have less action going on, put a separate post out there about the applications, just to see if we had any last minutes coming in. But yeah, we're hoping to get that all squared away as well. If you didn't hear, we do have Vincent Williams Jr. coming to speak to us this year. So that's exciting, as well as we have a theme. It's Sky's the Limit theme with 2 different songs, Up, Up and Away, and Let's Go Fly a Kite. So those are, a balloon and a kite are the themes. So
in the sky. Yes. And it's fitting because we're going to have beautiful views of the sky in our new locations. So
yes, that was kind of the motivation. We're a little bit higher. We have some windows. It's going to be a really cool venue. So, and I don't have very many FOs, so I'm hoping that you can go first, and then maybe I'll have a second one by the time you get back to me.
Oh boy. Challenge accepted? Yeah. I don't know that everybody wants to hear me blather until you have an FO. So I want to put it on because it's a bit chilly here, or at least it is where I am. I did the no sweat shirt. I think I talked about it as a very close to being done the last time that we chatted. I striped it, so the pattern is written up to not necessarily be striped, but super enjoy the look of the stripes in the reverse stockinette, kind of that blip of the main color coming down in and breaking up the contrast color. And the hood, I think, was the last thing that I needed to do, including this hood where the I don't know what I forget what she called it, like the pole lining or the hood lining piece where you where it holds the string. So as you can see, the lining is in that main color, which is the jeans speckly and I did the contrast color as the drawstring liner. Maybe that's what she called it. But you can see I did it reversible, and I tried really hard to hide where I was swapping the yarns and also make it pretty where I was picking up stitches, so that if I wanted it to be in its, the stockinette side versus the reverse stockinette side on the outside, the hood looks a little like it's a little less, but I think if you saw it like hanging down around my neck or on my head, wouldn't necessarily notice that it looked like there was a right side or a wrong side. Really enjoyed the pattern. It's written up to be with this reverse stockinette on the outside, and a solid color. And Park Williams is the Park and Knit is the, so I did this is where I hid my swap. So I've got kind of a faux seam on both sides. Now I've got it on, it's harder to show both sides. But a little purl bump on the stockinette side for that swap, and then a little faux seam on the reverse stockinette side for that swap. But really I'm obviously really enjoying the striping these days. Lots and lots of switching colors, and then I can't say enough about how this has washed up and how nice it is with that dungarees yarn, the recycled jeans, and then why can't I think of the other one? It's the recycled one. Barocco Remix Light. Yes, got it. Loved them, loved working with them, love them together, love. And so, yeah, and it's a working hood. It's not just decorative. Like I could go into airplane privacy, leave me alone mode. That's where I feel like I've seen a lot of the folks with their hoods all drawn up. But there's two hood options. There was a more squared off hood, and I did the rounded one, which had a few more decreases. And yeah, just super love it. It's a great knit for this time of year where at least in Minnesota, the mornings have been really cool, but then by the afternoon it's warmed up quite a bit. So the non-wool but longer sleeves is great. So this is going to be, I'm just going to keep wearing it. Okay. And then the other one that I had to, I think we chatted about it in works in progress and in the last finished objects because it was pretty close to done, was my Penelope. This is written up for short sleeves, and I obviously made them quite long. They grew and grew and grew, these sleeves. So I tried to stretch them this way so that the length wouldn't be as great, but they're still pretty long. I thought they were going to, because I was running out of this blue yarn, I thought they were going to be too short. So they were going to be more bracelet length, but do not underestimate what garter does. Right. Once washed. So super love it. Did not love setting in the sleeves, so it took me a very, very long time to set in the sleeves, but I think that's just me being very used to seamless knits such as this. I guess there was one seam in the drawstring liner, but super cute, super love it. I think this one's coming to Rhinebeck with me in case there's a day where it's a little it's fingering weight. There's a day where it's cooler / not so cool. So and trying to think if I did anything differently. I think I picked up a few less stitches around the neck because I felt like the neck was going to be a little gaping. And maybe picked up the amount written and then decreased some away while going into the ribbing, and added some length as well, both in the ribbing and then the body section. So as written bottom up. I'm not filling, I swear. So yeah, I think when I was showing it earlier, it looked very, again, it has stretched quite a bit, both in length and in width. A really fun slip stitch motif. And this was Aren't You Glad It's Pink, from
Oh, yeah.
Cyborg's Craft Room. So I
Very
felt like it
special one.
really, it's got some memories, worked in there from our birthday kit, and a good use of what was some, not leftovers, but I don't think I could have knit a whole sweater out of the pink. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
making it sing.
All by itself.
Yes. Yep. So trying to find a color that lets it sing on its own. I think, again, this motif is good with something that's got a little variegation and a solid. And I believe that's Julie Makes Things. Julie Makes Things is the name of the designer. And then, of course, as you guys have come to expect, I have my my Usul burls that have gotten completed. So I have a Lola Bean one combined with some Camel City dye works is this purpley pink that went so well with it. This one is the black and yellow is Mitchell's Creations, and I'm working with the other half of it. This one kind of took on more of a Michigan Wolverine feel.
Yeah, sporty.
Yeah, very sporty. This one's got the other half of that navy with the zombie barbecue from Lorna's Laces. I'm just loving how these variegateds are it's barber poling around, and then how that shows up in the when it's the thin stripe. Got another one here with I believe this is Madeline Tosh, and the really pretty one is a leftover from a sweater, and now I'm going to forget it. It was long sleeves or Japan sleeves by that I knit last year for Hohees, Kal, as the contrast color, and I had bought enough that I could have made a whole sweater without contrasting, kind of like the Penelope. And really love how these two have combined. Again, a fun little swirl in there. And then the one that just came off of the needles, Lorna's Laces Soulmate, and then a leftover red from another one that I've done with red and black. And I'm really enjoying kind of the green pink red blue of this combo. So those are the Musil burrows that have been created since last time. And then another one immediately went on the needles, of course. So lots of stripes. If you haven't, if that isn't a theme for me as of late, I don't know what would be, right? This is striped. These are stripes. The Penelope is striped. I'm knitting literally the stripes sweater for my Rhinebeck sweater. Stripes.
I might have to go and look at your notes for that, because I'm going to cast on a fingering weight one and stripe it like you're doing here shortly. But I did finish.
On the no sweatshirt?
No, for your
Musil burl. Okay.
Yeah, for your Musil burls, because mine are fitting so weird and I just need some guidance. So anyway, I made one, and I don't think it's quite as long as yours, right? So but it's a worsted, so I don't, how much would you really want it to double, triple up on the head? That could be really warm, but let me get it put together here. And so it's just, it has the two colors and then they're reversed. Yeah. So that when you put it on, you can get this fun hat. To me, it looks more like something from the 30s, rather than a stocking cap. But then you can unfold it and just have it be nice and loose.
Yeah, the two colors is fun, and working, swapping in the middle there and then flipping.
Yep. But like I said, for this, it's funny to me because like the way you have it, well, maybe it's my glasses, but you know, yours is really tight around here
Hmm.
and then molds around the head. Mine still feels pretty loose.
Yeah, again,
So
mine, I don't have my exact gauge out there, so that would probably be super helpful for you. But I'm just going up to 112 stitches. So I do know, again, like you said, it's going to be fitted, but because of the gauge that I'm knitted, I feel like it's got a ton of stretch,
oh
right?
yeah,
So it's just more of a,
and I don't know. It just, again, both of the ones that I've made so far have ended up looking like
yeah.
this, where it's really loose around that fold.
Mhm.
And I don't want that in the next one.
Okay. You can
So
build it better.
build it better, yeah. So
Mhm.
anyway, and if I'm wearing this one, you're probably going to have it end up looking like this most of the time. So for my glasses, so that it's really tight around my ears.
That'll keep the rain and the snow and the wind out, right?
Didn't say it wasn't functional.
Yeah.
So, and this is Barrett Woolco. I
Ooh,
had
yeah.
bought it for some stocking like feet, but I never made them. I think I tried to start making them and then I ripped it out. I guess I wasn't just a fan of the pattern and what it was doing. And then kept thinking like, I really like working with that yarn. It doesn't necessarily need to be in any sort of, I don't know, I only had a skein of each.
Mhm.
So I have enough to make another one, but probably of the same size. So I was thinking I'll go back and I'll make a smaller one so that it can be longer. And then if it doesn't end up fitting me, it can be given away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I could think of is at that point you're just like really like zen, right? Like you're just
In
like,
the middle, I'm just
woo,
like,
and it gets a little loose there. Cause yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've got one on the needles, obviously. And it does, when you get to the point where you're no longer increasing, it does feel impossibly small. Right.
mhm.
So I think maybe there's a little bit, especially since you're increasing until you feel like you've got enough and then you just continue to knit in the round. I do feel like you kind of have that potential, just like if you were working a top down sweater, to just keep increasing because it seems impossibly small. And then maybe you just end up with too much. And that's why it's flaring
Right.
on you.
Well, and again, I went by the pattern's definition of adult medium or and still ended up with something that on my head, which I feel like I have a larger head. I don't think that, yeah. Anyway, I still feel like it's a little big.
Yeah.
But the results are about the same as the last time I did this. So I think I just really need to go down a size. Like
Yeah.
like I'm an adult small in her pattern.
It
Because
definitely has a
again,
lot of
from the
stretch,
measurements, I was like,
especially when you're not stretching it this way very much, right? Like you're not trying to
yeah,
pull it down over your ears or whatever. It's mostly being stretched this way, right?
right.
So
And you have that, it's stockinette, right? So it's not gonna cinch in there. You could rib in this section if you wanted
huh,
to fix that too. Anyway, while we were talking, I went ahead and finished my lovely cornucopia socks that aren't perfect matches.
beautiful. I was
So
just thinking that I was wondering what her India Untangled colorway was going to be. And then I was like, but I haven't done last year. So maybe that'll be my travel project.
yeah. So yeah, we have the toes that are different, so they end up being
So
different all the
much
way up.
fun though.
Yeah. And I just did a fish lips on the back.
Mhm.
Again, it's just something that in my head it sticks. If
Mhm.
I've knit an oh my god or OMG, then I just then that's easy and it's in my head too.
Yep.
But um, anyway, so yeah, this is the Targi base ones, right? And so they're just super thick, knit on size 2s, not size 1s, right? So super, super squishy. and I had to put markers in because I wanted to make sure that I got the heels in the right place, especially with not starting on the same color frame.
Yeah, go into like autopilot and accidentally put the heel where it was in the color sequence.
Yeah. So I had to make sure that they were even, and then again, just knitting until like,
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it
So you
really
can see the white
highlights, I mean,
dots.
yeah, that all of the different colors, if they just line up, right? But you've got like at any point when you look at the socks here, I'm going to work in the colorway name. It'll be a cornucopia of colors at that point where you're looking at it, right?
Absolutely. Well, and of course, to celebrate, I went and I found some more self-striping and cast on right away.
That's what you do.
Like, again, these weren't finished yet, right? Until now. But I knew I was close. So instead of finishing them, I started something. But that's all right. I think that my mojo is waning on knitting right now. I don't know why. Because I'm very close with the Marley. I think if I had remembered that this week was finished objects last week, I could have gotten it done. Would have reset my mindset and gotten it done. Because I only have the front left and I'm very close to where you split for the V-neck, and it's a very low V-neck. So it's, there isn't very much left.
Actually fabric to create, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's not as much fabric to create. And then I would have to seam it all together, of course, which might take more time, but I could have the knitting done.
You're on the Megan plan. It does take quite a bit of time to actually seam everything all together, but
yeah. Well, and for this particular pattern, because the back is stockinette and the front has a lot of cables in it, I was going to block it this time. Sometimes I don't block things, but I don't know. The fabric characteristics on them were both very different. So I want to block them to make sure that they're the same when I'm seaming them up. Another thing that's kind of odd about that pattern is that the edge on the front that you seam with the back is reverse stockinette and stockinette. So seaming those two together might also cause me some extra mental gymnastics. That's, I don't know, not looking forward to that necessarily, but I am tantalizingly close to that split. I think within an inch of splitting. So, and it's not that many stitches that I'm going back and forth at the moment. So I have a feeling that as soon as I set my mind to it, it's going to be a week and it'll be done.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing it next time. And when we're doing tips and tricks, my tip and trick will be to you to remember that next week is finished objects.
Right. Well, and I have been on a cross stitch kick, right? Like we were talking about in favorite things. So I've been trying to work on that big knitter cross stitch that isn't as fun. Like when we were first talking about my cross stitching, I said about a 5-inch hoop was my limit, and that knitter one is a 10-inch hoop. So it is taking a lot longer than I would like. And of course, then I bought a pattern that's a 9-inch hoop because I don't know, I'm glutton for punishment.
You wanted to make, you wanted you weren't thinking about the process, you were thinking about the finished object, right?
I was, but the thing that sold me on it is it only has 4 colors. So the knitter one has so many colors, and they're interlaced flowers, so there's not a huge block of color that you can do. So it's fiddly. We'll call it, it's fiddly. So I think that the new one that I bought is less fiddly.
Got it. Valerie says that seaming and weaving in ends are good VKN activities. And I would agree, other than, I did seam this hood in our VKN, so people got to see kind of the huzzah moment. But for whatever reason, seaming, I'm anxious during the seaming activity because you have to rip it out and redo it and whatever. So I think weaving in ends is definitely good because you can kind of do that on autopilot. And then I keep on looking up and I see this detail I did not show off, and I should have. You know, it's a row, or the raglan is a stockinette versus the reverse stockinette. And then the way that the pattern is written, you don't get a purl, you know, it recesses, right? So you
Oh,
don't get a purl bump on the other side too. So it's kind of two looks. You kind of get that very defined raglan, and then the other side just looks like a normal raglan,
mhm.
which is interesting. But sorry, I
I
just
was,
kept looking up and I'm like, I didn't mention that. So
I think the only thing I was gonna say is that I'm gonna have to add to my calendar tonight, weave-in ends with VKN. But I don't know, lately, by the time I get home from work and cook and
yeah,
get settled, my peopling is or it's drained, it's zero. I don't know, one of the two. It's fully emptied, like my ability to people. But hopefully I do have a lot of ends to weave in for that one bubble cardigan. So
ah,
I could do that. Anyway,
consider
that's
consider that a challenge. You can do
yes,
it.
right.
Yep.
Thousands of, well, okay, it's not thousands, over 100 left, I'm sure. But
Mhm.
anyway,
Okay. Thanks for joining us.
yep. Bye.
Bye, Ufta. All righty.